Let's get the latest now with SABC News reporter Simpiwe Makanya, who's joining us live from the active scene. So, Simpiwe, we understand now that rescue efforts have since been halted due to the instability of the structure. But what can you tell us at this stage?
I'll get to that in a short while, Alicia, but allow me now to engage with the gifts of the givers. They have been here, since, of course, those news broke, trying to give whatever assistance that they can to the people that have been coming here to see, and also the victims that are affected by this particular incident. Mr. Jiwa, thank you so much for your time. You've been able to go to the structure itself. Just from your observations, what have you been able to see?
So the rescue teams, at one angle, they cannot enter they cannot get behind under the rubble because of the way that it's collapsed, and also there's some cracks. And there's also the risk of them getting injured if they do try and enter certain areas. So at the moment there's a small pocket that they've noticed that is open, I saw lately, so they've got a rope and they're going down to see how they can access the area.
Your presence here, what sort of assistance are you providing?
So we are providing assistance to the rescue teams because it's quite hot today. So we offered some hydration drinks and some chocolates, etc., some chocolate bars, just to keep them going. And at the moment we're arranging hot meals for the teams that are here and for everyone that's on site. Even the family members are sitting on top waiting anxiously. It's quite emotional scene up there, waiting. I asked the gentleman who is waiting. He says his brother is trapped at the bottom. So it is quite emotional, and they are appreciative of the support. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Of course, we'll continue to engage with you as the operation continues. That is Mr. Jiwa, who speaks on behalf of the gift of the givers. We do also have Teresa from the IPSS, who's going to give us an update, really, Alicia, in terms of how many fatalities have been confirmed at this stage. Thank you so much for your time.
Hi guys, thank you for having us. At the moment we can confirm definitely one deceased. There are still two more besides the deceased that's entrapped. Unfortunately, we can't confirm if the other two is deceased because we just have no response from them. But until we get to the patients down there, we just can't confirm. But one confirmed deceased.
Is the operation continuing in terms of the rescue operation?
Yes, at the moment we're continuing for sure. Even if the light is catching us, we will make sure we've got lighting up there because obviously we would love to get to those people down there as quickly as possible. It is a slow process and a very dangerous process as well because of the structure that's very unstable, but we will continue with the rescues as far as we can tonight, yes.
You've been here for the better part of the day. I mean, from your observations, looking at the terrain and the challenges that you are facing, how likely is this operation going to take? There's no time frame at the moment. Like I said, firstly, we have to make sure that everybody's safe that's trying to rescue these guys. At the moment, there is so much stuff that we have to work through with, meaning concrete, rebar, scaffolding that's collapsed, and it's a lot of weight on top of each other, and we need to, and some of those entrapped is obviously at the bottom there, so it's going to take quite a while for us to get to them safely. Those that are still underneath the rubble, are you able to communicate with them?
We did speak to them, and at one stage, I think about an hour ago, we unfortunately have had no more response, but it could be because they are tired. Obviously they are, there's no air in there, it's hot, so they might also just preserve their energy, and we've told them to just preserve. So at the moment, yes, there's no response at the bottom.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, guys.
There is Teresa from the IPSS giving us an update on the ground, Alicia, in terms of the operations that are continuing here to try and recover those individuals entrapped underneath the rubble. Of course, the confirmation coming through from the rescue teams at this point is that one person has since died, but they cannot confirm yet the second person because the information that they are getting on the ground is that the person is no longer responding. So it could very well be that they are tired, running out of breath and all manner of things because of the condition that they are in. But later on, of course, they will be able to give us more information in terms of those numbers coming through from the rescue teams, Alicia.
Simpiwe, earlier on I spoke to the MEC from the Public Works Department in KZN, MEC Martin Myers, who said they will be sending a delegation to come to the scene. Have you witnessed their delegation make their way to the scene at this stage? And if they have, what are they saying?
Of course, we did engage with the spokesperson of the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Mr. Senzelo Mzila, who was here earlier on to say that they've dispatched quite a number of rescue teams and also the equipment that is going to be needed to carry out an operation of this particular magnitude. Of course, you can imagine, I'm going to step out of the shot again, Alicia, to give our viewers a sense of what is currently happening here. I'm sure that our viewers can see right at the top, the rescue teams are still very much busy. I suppose the work that they are going to be undertaking now is to try and see what are the possibilities of trying to get to the people who are trapped underneath. And of course, you heard earlier on as the Teresa from the IPSS saying that they were able to communicate with the people entrapped underneath the rubble earlier on, but that does not seem to be the case at the moment. It's been a very hot day here in the area of Verulam. That too could be a contributing factor in terms of the energy levels that they could have as they are still, trying to work that particular rubble to see how they can recover the people who are still entrapped there. It's quite a sad situation. Alicia, I mean, you have been speaking to us, for quite some time, and we did speak to quite a few people who had been, arriving here to offer their words of encouragement, comfort during this time. A lot of anxiety. Some of the family members who had relatives entrapped underneath the rubble were literally in tears. Some of them not being able to speak to us about their feelings, but of course you could get a sense that it's quite a tragic situation indeed, Alicia.
Earlier on, Simpiwe, there were reports or even suggestions that the collapse was due to, in fact, or was weather-related due to high winds. And of course, I suppose the position of this building being right at the top of that little plateau there. And I think the COGTA spokesperson there completely denied this fact. What are you hearing at this stage in terms of investigations looking into the actual cause? I know it might still be early, as we can still see. Of course, there's quite a lot of personnel that are still just trying to get to those that remain trapped underground.
What is clear, Alicia, is that there are many unanswered questions about, one, the condition of the structure itself and also the safety, of the structure prior to it, collapsing. Of course, we do know that this particular building was still under construction. The person that we spoke to a short while ago is one of the survivors who was inside, in fact, working when it collapsed. And it did say to us that, it was a building which was still under construction. So those questions will emerge as, of course, authorities will be carrying out those investigations to try and establish as to what may have caused this particular unfortunate incident, Alicia.
And the building compliance matters rest with the city. This was according to the MEC, Simpiwe, when I spoke to him earlier on. And he wasn't sure really about, of course, whether the specific requirements were actually met at this stage. Earlier on, we're speaking about trying to locate the owners of the building, and you spoke about the fact that a lot of people were quite reluctant to talk to you. At this stage, have you managed to get any semblance of any information in regards to who owns, of course, this building, and also who was in charge of these renovations that were taking place at this temple?
Still very much difficult, Alicia, to establish who the owners are. But from the interview that we did earlier on today with one of the residents who normally comes to this particular temple to pray, he did say to us, in fact, is Mr. Singh, he did say to us that he comes here often and he knows that this particular structure is not owned by one individual. It's actually a group of people, but we have not been able to establish where those people are. But what we did hear from him earlier on is that one of the people who owns this building is in fact still entrapped underneath the rubble as we speak. So it's quite a sad situation. Of course, Alicia, there will be many questions going forward about the safety of this particular structure. In fact, if you look at the building itself, Alicia, or just the rubble, the area around where the building was, of course, stationed, it's an isolated sort of structure. Around this particular area, you don't see houses, so it would be quite difficult for rescue teams to even access, the rubble in terms of trying to remove it and help those who are still trapped underneath. So that is the situation, Alicia. But in terms of where the owners of the building are, we have no idea at this very moment. But of course, authorities did indicate to us earlier on that investigations will have to uncover the questions around the safety of the structure and the condition of the structure, and all those questions that arise when such an unfortunate incident happens.
Simpiwe, I see there is wind bustling around you there, and there were earlier concerns about the fact that the weather might also, get in the way of this rescue mission. How is the weather holding up in regards to the rescue mission at this stage?
The weather is going to play a very, very important role or factor in the recovery or rescue operations that are being undertaken here. Let me try and step out of the shot and see if there's any movement from the top. There you see that truck making its way down from the scene, which is still very much active. You see there, Alicia, in your visuals, that truck is making its way down. It's not clear, though, why, but certainly what we can confirm to our viewers is that the operations to try and rescue those who are trapped are continuing here. Of course, the weather also is going to be a very, important element to this particular developing story, because as I speak to you, it is now starting to get dark, and as you can imagine, the workers, the rescue teams that have been here, have spent hours and hours really trying to study the terrain and also try to, I suppose, help those who are in desperate need as quickly as possible.
We're going to leave it there at this particular moment. Simpiwe Makhanya, SABC News reporter, live to us in Verulam in Durban North at a scene of a collapsed temple where we hear, of course, some people remain trapped under the rubble, and, of course, 2 have since been confirmed deceased. Let's take a quick break. I'll have more news shortly.